Sangha conference call today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhargavi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Dhir Govindas, Dandavat to all devotees and those who are on the call.
Hare Krishna Neil Govind Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you Prabhuji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. This is Shyama Gauri Devdasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shyama Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, is there anyone who would like to introduce in the call?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'm Kasturi Harini Devidasi from Malaysia.
Hare Krishna Kasturi Harini Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Shiromani Nandarani Devidasi from Krishna Katha Desh.
Hare Krishna Shiromani Nandarani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhargavi Mataji, all glory Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj's my humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raya.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhargavi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indu from Lincoln. Mataji, Prabhuji is already on the call.
Hare Krishna Indu Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, today we don't have introduction, and Tiffany Mataji is going to read the verse which we were supposed to read yesterday.
Okay. So I welcome all of you once again to the Bhakti Sangha call. Today we are really fortunate to have His Grace Sanatan Dharma Prabhu ji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam from 5.3.9 onwards. And I would like to hand over the call to Tiffany Mataji. Please take over the call, Mataji, to read the verses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And so we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam 5.3.8. Atmana evanu savanam anjasa vyatirekena bobuyamana shesha purusharta swarupasya kintu natashisha ashashanana metad abhisamradana matram bhavitum arhati. And the translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. All of life's goals and opulences are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly, and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. Indeed, you are unlimited enjoyment in blissful existence itself. As far as we are concerned, O Lord, we are always after material enjoyment. You do not need all these sacrificial arrangements, but they are meant for us so that we may be benedicted by your Lordship. All these sacrifices are performed for our fruitive results, and they are not actually needed by you. And the purport. Being self-sufficient, the Supreme Lord does not need huge sacrifices. Fruitive activity for a more opulent life is for those who desire such material opulence for their interests. Yagnartat karmano nyatra loka yam karma bandhana. If we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, we engage in Maya's activities. We may construct a gorgeous temple and spend thousands of dollars, but such a temple is not required by the Lord. The Lord has many millions of temples for his residents, and he does not need our attempt. He does not require opulent activity at all. Such engagement is meant for our benefit. If we engage our money in constructing a gorgeous temple, we are freed from the reactions of our endeavors. This is for our benefit. In addition, if we attempt to do something nice for the Supreme Lord, he is pleased with us and gives us his benediction. In conclusion, the gorgeous arrangements are not for the Lord's sake, but for our own. If we somehow or other receive blessings and benedictions from the Lord, our consciousness can be purified and we can become eligible to return home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading the verses. And I would like to hand over the call to Sanatan Dharma Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association in this call. Hare Krishna, you can take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Am I audible to all of you? Are all able to hear me? You can even type it over the chat if you're all able to hear me clearly.
Yes, Prabhu.
We can hear you, Prabhuji.
Okay. You're all able to hear me clearly, but I'm not able to see any of you. And my only confidence to speak Srimad Bhagavatam is in the divine presence of all the Vaishnavas. So if the Vaishnavas don't appear, I don't feel blessed. I feel devoid of all mercy. I feel deprived of mercy. And then I don't get empowered to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. So my humble request to all the devotees is to kindly appear and bless this poor servant of yours so that I'm empowered to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll start with prayers. And meanwhile, I have complete faith in all of you that you'll all appear and you'll bless me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Panghum Langayate Giram Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. It's indeed a very, very great pleasure that I'm getting an opportunity to come here and speak the Srimad Bhagavatam for Lord's glorification and my own purification. And once again, thank you to so many of you wonderful Vaishnavas for having come for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we have been discussing from a very, very special section, and the entire title of the section is The Appearance of Rishabhadev, which means the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his empowered incarnation, Shaktavesh Avatar, is about to appear. Yes. So whenever there is appearance of Lord, that is a great festivity. It's a great occasion. So this chapter is very, very auspicious. the appearance of Rishabhadev, a very special incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So in the beginning, we find, I'll just to get a link of the shlokas, we find here that last time when I had come for this Bhakti Japa Sangha group, and that time we had discussed about Agnidara and Purvachitti. Yes. So Agnidara happens to be the son of Priyavrat Maharaj. So Priyavrat, Agnidar, and their eldest son was Nabhi, Nabhi Maharaj. So Nabhi had married Meru Devi. So Nabhi and Meru Devi, they are the couple, and they desired for a son. So as a result of that, they wanted to perform a Putra Kamishta Yajna, a sacrifice which can invoke a very, very auspicious or a great son. But in heart of heart, they had only one desire. What is that? They wanted the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be their son. That was the desire for which they started organizing this Putra Kamishta Yajna, and they wanted the Supreme Lord as their son. So they involved a very, very pure class of people to perform this sacrifice. In order to perform the sacrifice, one requires very pure, qualified, and very dedicated brahmanas. Yes. And as per the Shastras, there are 7 items, the 7 transcendental items which make the Supreme Lord appear. That is when the Supreme Lord appears. There is Dravya, which refers to the valuable materials and eatables which are given in the yajna, offered in the yajna kunda. You feed them in the yajna kunda. There is Desha, the place that you choose is very important. The third, there is Kala, the right time for performing the yajna. Fourth is the months have to be recited correctly without any kind of errors or mistake. Yes, that's no mistake is tolerated. Fifth, we need Ritvikas. Ritvika means the priests. The priests who perform the yajna. They have to be there. Then there is Dakshina, charity. Charity of cows, gold that is given. That is also a very, very important factor in the yajna. Then finally, there is Vidhana. The Vidhi means regulative principles, and Vidhana also means regulative principles. So these 7 are very, very favorable elements for a yajna to become successful. But yet, there is absolutely no guarantee that the Supreme Lord cannot be obliged to appear. Yes, if it comes to pleasing a demigod even appear.
We lost everything.
Prabhuji is not in the call anymore.
Yeah, let me call him.
He joined Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll keep the door open. I think I shut the door and that's when things went off. Now I'm able to see all of you as well. What is the last thing I spoke? Somebody can tell me because I was in flow.
You had just given us the 7 items, the 7 things necessary for successful yajna, and you said that the Lord isn't obliged to appear.
Yeah. He isn't obliged to appear. There's not necessary that you, even after you supply the 7 things, the Supreme Lord is obliged to appear. That doesn't happen. Yes. Then why did he appear? He appeared because of the great devotion which was there in Nabhi Maharaj, the Yajaman, the person who is performing the yajna, because of his devotion. It is only with bhakti that the Supreme Lord can be satisfied. Bhaktya tutosha bhagavan gajayutapaya. So it's by bhakti, the desire to please, that is what made the Lord appear. And then the Srimad Bhagavatam describes the wonderful beauty of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavatam never leaves any opportunity to glorify the beauty of the Lord, the form of the Lord. So Bhagavatam describes that how the Supreme Lord appeared in his yellow silken garment with Srivatsa Chinna, having the four transcendental weapons that he carries. Yeah, his earrings, his banglets, his helmet, and so many things. He appeared. And as soon as the Lord appeared on the sight, each and everybody present there, Nabhi, Meru Devi, you must how many of you seen that picture? I wish I had it to show you. They all fell to the ground and they were all just looking up in the sky where Lord appeared, and they felt as though just as a poor man, if a poor man is given a huge chest of treasure, lot of treasure, the boxes and boxes of treasure, if he discovers, how would he feel? He has dug his home and he finds that there is a huge treasure chest underneath his floor. He would feel like, wow, what is this? I didn't deserve this. Come on. So they all felt as though poor people now have received that supreme most treasure. So although Nabhi was the king of the entire planet, still he felt himself as a beggar. Now this is a great consciousness. Yeah, he never felt that he was rich. I'm the king. I'm great. He felt I'm just an insignificant beggar. And that's what even Srila Prabhupada would sign himself as. You're insignificant beggar. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami in his Markena Bhagavad Dharma. So this is the consciousness required to attract the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And then as soon as the Lord appears, the Ritviks, the sages, they start praying. And that is the section which we are about to discuss. So very first, they declare themselves as that we are the servants. You're the master and we are nothing but your servants. So they clarify their position. Number one. Number two, they declare that actually you are not satisfied with anything material, but you are satisfied only when your devotees with with their faltering voices, they chant your holy name and your holy fame. That is the only thing that can satisfy you, not all these materials that we have offered, and we never brought you here. And now there was a scene. Now just when Tiffany Mataji read the section, yeah, this is the picture. Thank you, so much. See, they're all just falling to the ground and crying out. So this is the exact scene which I was trying to tell, and the Lord has appeared on Garuda Dev. Thank you. Yes, so this is, we can all go to that scene. See, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the philosophy can sometimes get very dry. So if you actually, the rasa, the taste element, the flavor, the mellow that is present when we actually go and visualize ourselves there. Yes, and the sages themselves, all of them are praying. We have done such elaborate sacrifices, but that's not the reason for which you have come. Yes, and that is when what Tiffany Mataji, she read just now, that verse number 8, yesterday's verse, I believe, that comes applicable. This verse was spoken, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, that they felt we don't have any devotion. We absolutely do not have any devotion in our heart, but still you have come. Oh my Lord. So they are saying in the verse, the feeling of that particular 8th verse is that you are absolutely not in need of any of these items, 7 items which we mentioned, and all these elaborate sacrifices and this pomp. You don't need it. Then why have you come? You are so wonderful that you have come to satisfy our self-interest, to liberate us. That is why you have come. Now one may ask, well, if you didn't come out of those 7 kind of items which were offered, then why did you appear? Why exactly did the Lord appear? What was the need for the Lord to appear? That is clarified in shloka number 9. I'll be very grateful if that is projected. Shloka number 9, so that we all can observe. It's in prose order, so we'll not be able to recite. We will just तद्यथा बालिशानां स्वयमात्मनः श्रेय परम अवुदिशां परमपुरुष प्रकर्ष करुणया स्वमहिम्नानां चापवर्गाख्यम् उपकल्पयिष्यन् स्वयं नापचित एवेतरवद् इहोपलक्षितः. We'll go to the translation directly. O Lord of the Lords, we are completely ignorant of the execution of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, the process of liberation, because we do not actually know the goal of life. You have appeared personally before us like a person soliciting worship, but actually you are present here just so that we can see you. You have come out of your abundant and causeless mercy in order to serve our purpose, our interest, and give us the benefit of your personal glory called Apavarga liberation. You have come although you are not properly worshipped by us due to ignorance. We'll just try to understand this verse, the meaning first. Thank you for showing it. Am I allowed to share? Okay, even I can share. Yeah. So let's analyze the translation first. So here the sages are saying that we don't know what's dharma, what's artha, what's kama, or what is moksha. These four are called the purusharthas, which means the quintessentials for any human being. They are called the purusharthas. Yeah, and we don't know what is it. We don't know the goal of life. We are completely ignorant. We are fools. Now, this is modesty. This is humility that is that's being explained by these Ritviks who are actually very educated and qualified. Yes, but despite our disqualification, despite our incompetence, despite our incapabilities, despite our inabilities, you have appeared just so that we can see you. So, a person who gives great commodities to an undeserving person is called as abundantly merciful, and that's what they address the Lord as. You are abundantly merciful, and you have given us causeless mercy, which means we didn't deserve it, but you still gave it to us. So you are giving us causeless mercy, causeless mercy, and you have come here to liberate us, and we have not properly worshipped you, yet you have come, although we are ignorant. So this particular, there are three kinds of prayers. Yes, there are three kinds of prayers which our acharyas teach us. The first type of prayer is called as Dainya Bodhika. Dainya Bodhika prayer is a prayer where one feels oneself very fallen. Like Bhakti Vinod Thakur praying, Amar Jivana Sada Pape Rata Nahiko Punyera Lesha. So he is just enumerating his own disqualifications. That's called Dainya Bodhika. The second kind of prayers is Lalasamai prayer. Lalasamai prayer is the prayer where a devotee is exhibiting his transcendental greed to serve the Lord. That's called Lalasamai. Yes? So that is the second kind of prayer, Lalasamai prayer. So the third kind of prayer is Samprarthanaka prayer, where he is being very, very prayerful, asking for benedictions of the Lord. So this particular prayer is actually Dainya Bodhika. A devotee is, the Ritviks, they are all praying that we are not qualified, but yet you have given us abundant mercy. So Lord is the supremely benedictor, Varadraj is called as. So now we go to the purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Vishnu was personally present at the sacrificial arena, but this does not mean that he had any interest in his own personal benefit. Now, this statement has a good deep significance. Normally, yajnas are performed in order to benefit the demigods. So the demigods appear in the yajna because that's the food for the demigods. When they subsist on the yajna, as Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, that's the system. The humans perform yajna, the demigods get benefited from the yajna, as a result of which they give resources to the human mankind. Yeah. But the Supreme Lord has not appeared for his any interest, because he is not going to get anything out of the yajna. It's only the foolish demons, demoniac mentality like people, they think that the Supreme Lord is actually empowered by his devotees. That's why Hiranyakashipu, if you see in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, he tells all his demoniac associates, go and kill all the Brahmanas. If you go and kill all the Brahmanas, there won't be any Agnyas. And there won't be any Agnyas, Vishnu will become weak and powerless and die. This is supremely foolishness. Yeah, Hiranyakashipu telling that go and stop the Agnyas, you stop the Agnyas, Vishnu is going to die. No, that's a really big misunderstanding that people have. Actually, the Supreme Lord does not get anything. So he never appeared for his personal interest. Similarly, the Archa Vigraha, the deity in the temple, is present for the same purpose. Out of his causeless mercy, the Supreme Personality of Godhead presents himself before us so that we can see him. So there were many invaders, especially when we are talking about India. They came and they destroyed the temples, they destroyed the deities, and many people who were worshipping the deities in the temple, they lost faith. They said, come on, how is it that those invaders could come and destroy the deities? Because the invaders thought that by destroying deities, we are killing their god. That's another foolishness. That is another Hiranyakashipu type of mentality, right? So people lost faith. How can the Lord not protect himself? But we need to understand Lord in the deity form has come to accept the service of his devotees, just like a child would appear to receive service from his or her mother. That is the purpose of Lord's appearance. And that opportunity to serve the Lord, to serve the deities, is a causeless mercy. The causeless mercy of the Lord upon the devotee. Because Lord is not going to be benefited. He's absolutely not going to get any kind of benefit. It's we who benefit the Lord by serving him. Yes. Since we have no transcendental vision, we cannot see the spiritual Satchidananda Vigraha of the Lord. Therefore, out of his causeless mercy, he comes in a form that we can see. We can only see material things like stone and wood, and therefore he accepts the form of stone, wood, and thus accepts our service in the temple. Yes, there are 8 particular forms in which the Lord appears. He appears as a certain stone that's called life stone. Stone, he appears in wood, he appears in water, he appears in paint, in jewelry, in sand, and in mind. So like these are ashtadhatus, which are called. So the Lord may appear in all of these 8 forms, because these are all the forms which are perceivable for us. We are not able to perceive the spiritual form. We need spiritual vision. Only then we can perceive the spiritual form. Yes. So the Lord appears in a form in which we are able to see and serve him. So this is an exhibition of Lord's causeless mercy, that he is able to come in a form, although he is transcendental, completely spiritual, he has no material form, but he comes in a form in which we can serve and see him. That's Lord's causeless mercy. So although he has no interest in such things, in order to receive our loving service, he agrees to act as he does. We cannot actually offer suitable paraphernalia for the Lord's worship because we are completely ignorant. That means we don't even have the qualification to serve the Lord. I just remembered one pastime from Srila Prabhupada. I'll not mention the place. So Srila Prabhupada had gone to a place in one particular continent, a particular country, and there Srila Prabhupada stayed for a week. Yes. And after a week where Srila Prabhupada stayed, Srila Prabhupada had to leave back. So the senior most devotee of that particular place was 7 days old in Krishna consciousness. How old? 7 days old. That's it. So normally the guru calls the deities, that's called prana pratishtha, and then he tells the deity that, my dear deity, say my dear Shri Radha Krishna, my dear Shri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Sudarshan, these disciples will take care of you. Don't worry. This is what a guru normally tells. But after 7 days of Srila Prabhupada's stay, Srila Prabhupada is crying tears and telling the deities, please take care of my disciples. Please take care of these people. They're just very new in Krishna consciousness. So please take care of them. It was the other way around. So many a times Srila Prabhupada used to go around places like this. People used to pick up seriously, and Srila Prabhupada would get a letter that I am seeing 3 people There's a black guy with big eyes. There's a white guy with big eyes. There's a small yellow. It appears to be a female, a woman. Who are these three people? Then Srila Prabhupada will say, that is Krishna, Balram, and then their sister Subhadra. And they, oh, okay, fine. We're just confirming if it is Krishna because we're worshipping them and we don't know they're Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Sudarshan ki Jai. They wouldn't even know who they're worshipping. But because they have faith in Guru, they used to do the worship. There was yet another place in the early days of ISKCON where a devotee started deity worship because of Guru's orders. And he didn't know what to do. So as long and until he would take the incense first, that's the vidhi. Yes, the process, and he would start rotating. So as long as his hands would not pain, he would keep rotating, rotating, rotating. Hand would pain, fine. He would change the item. Next, he would start Hare Krishna worshipping. And then his hand would again pain. He would take the arghya and start worshipping. And this worship took him 3 hours. And he said, well, we got six worships in a day. So 6 threes are 18. Nah, that's not practical. There's something wrong. We need to understand how to worship. So there have been times like this. So when I contemplate all these things that have happened in the past, I feel how merciful is the Lord. Just on the order of his pure devotee, the Lord comes, like Srila Prabhupada or the spiritual masters, the current Acharya Vrinda. He appears and is willing to accept even the offensive service of his disciples. It's seva aparadh. It's not something ordinary. We are committing some kind of offense to the deities. It's called seva aparadh. Yes, and that slacks our progress. But still, the Supreme Lord, despite the disciple is foolish, ignorant, neophyte, novice, is willing to accept that service and is willing to worship, accept that worship out of his causeless mercy. Yeah, causeless mercy. That's the beauty of Lord Krishna. And I have another example. To substantiate my point. All right. A restaurant. Okay, you're a restaurant owner. And I just want to know who is the most celebrated person in the United States? A celebrity. Number one celebrity of the US. Who is that? Do you have anyone? I just want to know some name. But I don't know many guys out there. Yes, some name. There are many. I'm just asking who is number one. Nobody? No. That's not possible. Yes.
Selena Gomez. There's so many people.
Oh, Selena Gomez.
Yeah, she's a singer.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, she's a singer. All right. Suppose this Mataji, Selena Gomez, she comes to the restaurant of which you are the owner. Right? She comes to the restaurant, the owner, and you're the owner, and she orders something, so prasad. She eats. I would like to ask you, Prabhu, who gave the answer? Devahuti Devidasi, I think that's Mataji. What's your name, Prabhu? Because you gave the answer.
Chirai Das.
Yes, Chirai Prabhu. Yes, Chirai Prabhu. So my question is to you. Selena Gomez comes to your restaurant that you're owning, and she orders pizza prasadam. Yes, the Goloka Express pizza prasadam. She has it. Would you charge her?
No, bro.
Why not? Come on. It's kind of like $100.
That's true. It's all the,
What would you do instead? Chirai Prabhu, tell me, what would you do?
We'll definitely, try to get a autograph or something, take pictures or something, try to prove ourselves that we're great.
Chirai Prabhu, you're not such an opportunist like me.
I know.
What I would do, I would live stream the video on my Facebook, on Insta, on YouTube. I would live stream it. I would live stream the entire thing, get her autograph, get photos clicked, put bit flakes, and that's it. Then your restaurant becomes famous in the entire United States. So although you didn't charge, now a person who is a short-sighted person would say, come on, you did not charge Selena Gomez. You should have gone and asked her for the $150, the bill. Come on, give me. You're supposed to pay. And even she was taking out her purse. Please tell me, how much do I pay? and you lost an opportunity. No, you gained. You made the best out of the opportunity by hyping up the whole event so much. You have become now famous, not only in the United States. I'm sure that the personality, she's a singer, Selena Gomez. I don't know. I've been watching television for quite some time, maybe 12, 15 years. No television, I don't know. But I'm sure that what all she must be having fans internationally. Everybody would now, each time they come to US, to your place, Chirai Prabhu's restaurant, they would drop by to pick up the same item that she ate. And thus you will be, who's benefited? Did she benefit or you benefited? Yes, it's Chirai
We,
Prabhu's benefit.
right,
You won.
our benefit.
Yes,
Yes.
you did benefit. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, by serving the Supreme Lord, Krishna, whose fame is million, billion, zillion times more than Selena Gomez, actually. Because if you go and ask Indra in Indra Loka, Selena Gomez, they will say, who's that? We don't know. You go to Brahma Loka, Selena Gomez? No. Even I don't know. Who is she? Yeah. On the other hand, Krishna is all famous. He's Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayak. He's not just famous in this universe, he's famous in all the universes and even famous beyond this material creation. He's so famous that Mahavishnu had to steal the sons of Brahmana to get his darshan. Mahavishnu would never perform any immoral activity, became, because he understood Krishna is a little naughty guy. And if I were to get the darshan of Krishna, I need to do some naughtiness. Without that, I'm not going to get Krishna's darshan. So he stole the kids of Brahmanas in order to get darshan of Krishna. Yes. So such a famous person, if you are serving him, he is not going to benefit. Krishna has everything. He's Lakshmipati. Krishna has a Shakti which is called as Satya Sankalpa Shakti. That means he desires something, it's fulfilled immediately. He's Atma Kam, Atma Ram. He enjoys within himself. He doesn't need anything of us. He doesn't need any one of us. But we serving Krishna, we benefit. I hope this. Thank you, Chirai Prabhu, for your wonderful active participation. Yes, I got to.
Thank you for your
I got to
blessings.
know some. I got to know one celebrity in US. I got the name. I'll use this example next time.
It's actually Prabhu, my niece, nephew. So that's why, I'm not into it too much, but it's my nephew who's into it.
Okay, so your nephew gave you the hint.
Yes, Prabhu.
Definitely, no, not a problem. A good example for us to understand Krishna consciousness. Thank you. Now we go to the next verse, the second part of our class. So now we understood that the Supreme Lord, by appearing, has shown his abundant merciful nature. That is abundantly merciful. And that abundant mercy of Lord is something that really charms and attracts the heart of the devotee's mercy. It's called as Prakarsha Karunaya. Karuna means mercy. Prakarsha Karunaya means abundant mercy of Lord. This is the nature. So now after so much of glorification, definitely the Lord's mind, what would be going on? Normally, whenever Lord comes, he gives Ashirvad. Ashirvad means blessings. So Lord may be thinking in his mind, okay, so you have prayed enough. You already recited good number of prayers. Now please tell me, what is it that you want? What benediction do you desire for? That's what the Lord is thinking in his heart. And because they're devotees, they know the Lord's heart. And then this is the next thing. Even before Lord could ask, they are going to recite the next verse. अथायमेव वरोहि अर्हत्तम यर्हि बर्हिषि राजर्षेर वरदर्शभो भवान् निज पुरुषेण विषय आसीत. Translation. O most worshipable of all, you are the best of all benefactors. And your appearance at Saintly King Nabhi's sacrificial arena is meant for our benediction. Because you have been seen by us, you have bestowed upon us the most valuable benediction. That's all. The very fact that you have given your darshan, this is the most valuable benediction. So before even Lord could ask, come on, you ask something, please take a boon. And this is what normally Lord's nature is. Even when he appeared before Prahlad Maharaj offered prayers. And after Lord was completely pacified with Prahlada's prayers, he asked, come on, Prahlad, ask for a benediction. And that's when Prahlad says, come on, I'm not doing business. I've loved you. This is love. This is not business. that I give you something and you give me something in return. No, or my bhakti is not business. I'm not a vanik. That's what he says. But Lord says, Prahlad, I insist. Come on, ask for a benediction. Ask. Then Prahlad says, if at all you're forcing me so much, all that I ask is please liberate my father. Narasimhadev says, come on, Prahlad, I've liberated your 21 generations. Please ask for something. That's already done. You should ask something more. And then Prahlad Maharaj, then he asks for a benediction. But now, before even Lord could ask for a benediction, all the sages they are telling is that we have already had the benediction of your darshan. That itself is a great benediction. Yes. Same thing section happened in the beginning of the creation, during the creation of the universe. When Brahmaji performed tapasya, he performed the penance. As per Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Lord Gopal, that means our Krishna, two-handed form, he appeared in front of Brahma. He appeared and gave him a handshake. He shook his hands. Congratulations. Very good. Well done. He shook hands because they're friends. Sakyaras. And then later on, he asks for benediction. And then Brahmaji also acknowledges the very same thing. The very fact that I've got your darshan, at the same time, even Lord inspired Brahma with the darshan of his spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan. Chintamani prakara sadma shukalpa vriksha lakshávritesha surabhira vipalayantam lakshmi sahasra satasambhrama sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So he blesses with the darshan of the spiritual world. He said, this is the benediction. I've got darshan of your transcendental form and I've got darshan of your abode, Golok Vrindavan. I don't need any. And I've got your handshake. I got to shake hands with you. This is a great benediction itself. I don't want anything more. So devotee is quite satisfied with the darshan of the Lord. I got to take darshan. Yes. So they say that your darshan is the most valuable benediction because we allowed us to see you. This is another thing. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, our Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, whenever he would go to a kshetra, he went outside and he would stand outside the temple. Yeah, he wouldn't go inside. And disciples would ask, Guru Maharaj, darshan, please. He used to say that Krishna is the actual drashta. He is the actual seer. What darshan can I take? So darshan does not mean that you go and see the Lord. Darshan means you are seen by the Lord. That is the meaning of darshan. That is the right consciousness of darshan. And the same consciousness is there in the Ritviks who are praying. You have been seen by us. You have bestowed upon us the most valuable benediction already by appearing in this sacrificial arena. We'll go to the purport. Nija Purusha Ikshana Vishaya. In Bhagavad Gita 9.29, Krishna says, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu. I envy no one. No me dveshosti na priyaha. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also friend to him. Now, how to understand this particular shloka? Yes, I'll try to give an explanation. What time is it there? Is it 6 a.m. right now? No, it's 7 a.m.
8 a.m. Prabhuji.
8 a.m. Okay, it's 8 a.m. Okay. I didn't calculate the daylight saving. 1 hour. Okay, it's 8 a.m. for you. All right. 8 a.m. out there. So the sun has risen. Sunrise happened already. All right. If a person were to go shut all the windows, close the curtains, shut the door, shut off all his lights and all other electrical equipments, blindfold oneself and shut his eyes and say, now show me the sun. Is it possible for such a person to see the sun? Say, now please, no, you have to show me the sun. No, I don't agree. You have to show me the sun. There is no sun because I can't see the sun. Yes, I can't see the sun, so there's no sun. So there is no sun in the US. Although it's 8 a.m. in the morning, there's no sun. So this is foolishness. If you want to see the sun, well, my dear fellow, You're supposed to open your eyes, open the blindfold, open your windows, doors, and if possible, please come out of your home, and then you will be able to see the beautiful form of the sun. Yes, you can know that the sun exists. So you have to make an effort. So similarly, Krishna is as impartial as the sun. The people who envy Krishna, who are atheistic in nature, whose intelligence has been stolen by the material energy, such kind of people are these fellows who shut their eyes tight, blindfold themselves, close their windows, doors, everything, and they're right sitting in that dark room and thinking there is no sun. That's the problem. On the other hand, those of them who are willing to be open minded, who are willing to open, etc., and go outside, get the warmth of the sun and get to see the sunlight. So that way, Lord is as equal as the sun, but it's our attitude, our consciousness that matters the most, that we need to go out and access that mercy, access the warmth, access the light. And that's our initiative. We need to take that initiative from our end. That is when we get to experience the sun. So similarly, Krishna telling Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Dveshosti na Priyaha. That is very correct. Krishna does not envy anyone. Krishna is showering the light just as the sun shines on top of every house. There's no discrimination. Sun shines over India, sun shines over the United States as well. Sun shines over Malaysia. I was hearing some of them are even from Malaysia and all other places. Mangalore, everywhere. The sun shines everywhere equally. There's no discrimination. But it's up to the individual to reap the benefit of the sunlight. That's the individual's task. So, ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya, the person who is willing to do the bhajan, this devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, mai te teshu chapiyaham. Such a person becomes dear to Lord. Such a person gets the mercy. Going ahead, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is equal to everyone. In that sense, he has no enemies and no friends. Everyone is enjoying the fruitive reactions of his own work, and the Lord within everyone's heart is observing and giving everyone the desired result. So you see here, this principle of this world is that each and every one of us are getting what we deserve. For everyone, Lord has created a system, and this system is called as karma. So as per this, when does the system start? Right from womb to tomb, we are all governed by karma. Karmana daiva netrena jantur dehopapattaye striya pravishta udaram pumso retah kanashrayah. From womb to tomb, we are governed by karma. But on the other hand, if we become devotees, we always get more than what we deserve. Because Krishna is a little, or rather somewhat partial to his devotees. He is. So if we are getting something in devotional service, after coming to devotional service, we are definitely getting something better than what we deserve. So what about bad things? Does it mean that, because normally we hear that as soon as you come to devotional service, the first symptom of devotional service is kleshagni. That means all miseries cease to exist. But then why is it that even a devotee experiences some kind of suffering? How many of you, as you're all devotees, how many of you experience suffering in your life, day-to-day life? Thank you for being honest. Even I do. Why? Why is it so? Why is Krishna doing this? So we need to understand that when you, like in India, we use fans. I don't know. You use fans, ceiling fans? Yeah, we all use ceiling fans. So when you turn off the fans, does this fan stop instantly? No, it doesn't stop instantly. It slowly rotates, and finally there's a halt. So similarly, as soon as we come to Krishna consciousness, the fan of suffering, the switch has been turned off. But it takes a while. It takes a while for the fan to stop completely. And in between, if we are performing sinful activities, it's like again turning on the fan. And then again turning it off. Then again, it's going to delay. So the more a devotee, after coming to Krishna consciousness, performs the sinful activity, we are going to delay the stopping of the suffering. But what about actual suffering coming up? Once what happened? There was a new new bhakta in Prabhupada's time. So he was the service given to him was cutting of sabji. He was cutting the vegetables in the kitchen for a service. So he was cutting, and as soon as he was cutting, Srila Prabhupada told a devotee does not experience any suffering. And Prabhupada spoke with a lot of conviction and weight. So he was doing this was the first time he was doing some service after that lecture of Prabhupada, where he heard devotee does not experience any suffering. And the first service and the first experience within 1 minute of the service was he cut his finger. It was painful. He directly went to Srila Prabhupada. He did not take the first aid. He didn't talk to the senior devotees. He said, I want to meet Prabhupada. Devotee said, Prabhupada is busy. He said, I don't care. It's a great doubt in my mind. Otherwise, I'm walking out of the temple. Please. And devotee said, okay, all right, come and meet Srila Prabhupada. So she asked, Srila Prabhupada, why did Krishna cut my finger? Srila Prabhupada looked at that person and said, your head was supposed to be cut. Yes, your head was supposed to be cut. But Krishna mercifully cut your finger. You got a token punishment. The person said, I'm going back to my service. Yeah. So whatever the so-called suffering that comes in the life of a devotee, we need to understand that these are token punishments. Actually, we deserved much more. But Krishna, out of his merciful nature, has diminished, reduced the intensity of the suffering. Yeah. So everybody gets what they desire. As per the desire, yes, you sow a mango, your mango seed, you're going to get a mango tree. You sow a lemon seed, you're going to get a lemon tree. On the other hand, in this world of devotees, Krishna is always merciful to them. They get much better than what they deserve. However, just as the devotees are always anxious to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead satisfied in every way, similarly, the Supreme Lord is very anxious to present himself before his devotees. This material world is characterized by three things. Number one, conditions on the physical platform. We have physical conditionings. We get tired, right? We feel sleepy. We feel drowsy. I hope that's not the case in the Bhagavatam class. Yeah, at least not in my class. So we feel tired, we feel fatigued, we get drowsy, we feel sleepy. Yes. So these are all conditions on this body. Yeah, the body has conditions. That's the first thing that happens in the material world. The second aspect is conditionings. The conditionings exist in the subtle body, in the mind. We have certain habits, certain mannerisms, certain behavioral patterns, certain attitudes. Yeah, certain things which kind of cause a resistance to accepting certain good things. We normally see that. These are conditionings which bind us in this world. And the third aspect of this material world, first is condition, second is conditioning. Condition on the gross body, conditionings on the subtle body, and the third thing is cutthroat competition. This world is characterized by cutthroat competition. And this is something that is imposed on the environment. Yeah, cutthroat competition. These three C's, Prabhupada says, signifies the material existence. Conditions, conditioning, and cutthroat competition. We quote that the spiritual world is free from conditions. You look at Narad Muni. He's able to fly with his body. He's able to go anywhere he wants. He doesn't need an airplane, doesn't need a rocket. On the other hand, we are not able to lift our body beyond a few feet above the ground. So spiritual world is free from conditions, conditionings, and cutthroat competition. There is no rat race kind of a thing that is there in the spiritual world. But yet, although the spiritual world is a competition-less society, there is still a competition. What is that competition? That competition is competition of service. A devotee tries level best to serve Krishna, and Krishna tries to serve the devotee. And there's a competition, who serves more? Who's going to serve more, Krishna or the devotees? And that is the transcendental competition that is going on in the spiritual world. And this is all competition which is hinted here by Srila Prabhupada. Yes. So the devotees are anxious to see the Lord is satisfied, And the Supreme Lord is very, very anxious to see his devotees are satisfied. Correct? So Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 4.8, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I advent myself millennium after millennium. So these are the three purposes for which the Supreme Lord appears. One thing, to deliver the pious, paritranaya sadhunam. The second thing is to vanquish the miscreants, vinashaya cha dushkritam. Number three, to establish the dharma, dharma samstapanarthaya. So now Acharyas Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur goes a little more deep. He says that, well, if you want to protect the sadhus, well, Krishna can do that sitting right in the spiritual world. He doesn't have to really come to protect the sadhus. Vinashaya Dushkritam. Krishna wants to annihilate the miscreant. All he has to do, as Paramatma, just walk out of the heart. Suppose Krishna wants to annihilate Hiranyakashipu. All he has to do is just walk out of his heart, and the next day's newspaper headlines would be Hiranyakashipu dies out of heart attack. That's all. That's the only thing that he needs to do. Just walk out of the heart of Hiranyakashipu. Walk out of the heart of Ravana, and Ravana drops dead. Cardiac arrest. Why does he have to come? Dharma samstapanartha. Well, if you want to establish dharma, there are great sages, great souls like Srila Prabhupada who will establish dharma. Why Lord has to personally come? So as such, Lord personally comes only for two purposes. These three reasons which are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita are not wrong. But these three reasons are not exclusive reasons, because these three can be accomplished even by Lord's devotees or Lord with his energies. Then why does he come? So Chaitanya Charitamrita gives the answer for this. Prema rasa niryasana korite aswadana raga marga bhakti loke korite pracharana rasika shekhara Krishna parama karuna ei dui hetu hoite ichhara udgama. So this particular shloka says Krishna appears only for two purposes: to taste love and to teach love. To taste love with his devotees, to reciprocate loving pastime with his devotees. That's one thing. The one reason that he comes. Because for these three reasons, Krishna doesn't have to appear personally. And the second reason for which Krishna appears is Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Kurite Pracharana. In order to teach this loving service, how I reciprocate love with my devotees, to teach it to the world. This is why he appears. Going ahead. Thus, Krishna's appearance is for the deliverance and satisfaction of his devotees. Yes, to taste love, to teach love. Actually, he does not advent himself to kill the demons, for that can be done by his agents. See, I told you. Lord Vishnu's appearance at the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Nabi was just to please the king and his assistants. Otherwise, there is no reason for his being present there. That's all. So devotees live for Krishna's pleasure, and Krishna lives for devotees' pleasure. And this is what he tells to Durvasa Muni when Durvasa Muni goes, because he was fearful of Sudarshan Chakra. And he's running. One full year, Durvasa Muni was having a marathon, running from pillar to post, trying to save himself. Hey, come on, I need to save my dhoti, my dhoti. He was running. And he finally goes to Vaikuntha Loka. He falls flat on the ground. And the Supreme Lord says, Sadavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam toham madannattanna dananti naham tebhyo managapi. So he says, my devotees are in my heart and I am in the heart of my devotees. I don't nobody else other than my devotee, and my devotee doesn't know anyone else other than me. So me, my devotee, and me. Thank you so much, Durvasa Muni. Bye bye. That's it. So I don't know anything else. So that is what the Supreme Lord's existence is. Supreme Lord exists to please his devotees. So if you really want to, it's said that when we do Harikatha, Krishna is attentive, because he is very attentive that, oh, who's listening to my Katha? But when we do devotee Katha, that is Hari Bhakta Katha, then he is much more attentive and he relishes that much more. So devotee Katha is superior to even Krishna Katha. Yes, I think we have 5 more minutes. while we break for question answers. So the whole theme, if I were to summarize today's class, what do we understand? We understand two things. The abundant mercy of the Lord is what is explained in the 9th verse. And the abundant mercy is his causeless appearance, despite the disqualification of his ignorant followers. That's a great hope for us. Even if we are ignorant, we are not properly doing the worship, the Supreme Lord is abundantly merciful. He will appear. And the second theme that we understand here is the Lord's appearance is the greatest blessing. There is no better blessing for us than the darshan of the Supreme Lord. So his appearance is a great blessing. So if we are having deities in our centers, deities at our homes, we need to feel really fortunate. Feel very fortunate that the Lord has appeared exclusively for me, for Sanatan Dharma to accept my service. Although I do it with all ignorance and foolishness and mistakes, still the Lord appears to accept that. Yes, so that is the greatest benediction. Hare Krishna. Question answers, if there are any, I would like to take.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the very, very beautiful class and very practical points that we will keep in our mind. Yeah. So very nice that you said that deities being there at home itself is Krishna's blessing. So
Greatest benediction. Greatest benediction. There's nothing better than that. Yeah. That's what Prabhupada says. Bhagavatam says. Yeah.
In spite of devotees' mistakes and ignorances, still Krishna is so humble and he has appeared in all the devotees' home. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very true, Mataji.
If there are any questions or comments, they can ask now.
There's a question.
Hare Krishna.
What matters most time for? Okay, yes.
No, I just
I'll take this
wanted to
question
say
after
thank
yours.
you. I just wanted to say thank you. You can take question.
Yes. What matters most time for chanting or rounds or chanting? Can you rephrase that? I wish to understand your question. Please elaborate a little bit.
I
What
think
matters most time?
they're asking what is important, the more time for chanting or the number of rounds?
Okay. The time for chanting or the number of rounds of chanting? Srila Prabhupada always said first quantity then quality. First, we should try our level best to increase the number of rounds to 16 rounds. At least minimum 16 rounds, Srila Prabhupada said. And initially we start off slowly. Yes, you can start slowly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as we are able to get a grip over the pronunciation, we can go for the speed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. We can chant a little faster. But yes, we don't want to set any world records. Yes, Guinness Book of World Records for the fastest chanting. We don't want to do that. Yeah. So you can progress as and when, based on the faith that you have, based on the conviction you're having in the philosophy, you can increase the number of rounds. Yes. Thank you for helping me to understand the question.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Anyone else? We have one more minute.
Do you have to go, Prabhuji?
If there are no questions, then
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Suresh Vishram Prabhu. Dandvat. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, one question, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhuji, we say yajna is a sacrifice. Yajna is also called as a sacrifice. And can we say austerity also is a sacrifice?
Okay. Normally, yajna, dana, and tapa are three separate limbs. They are three. Yajna, dana, tapa, vrata, swadhyaya. 5 things come. So austerity comes under tapasya. There's a difference. Yajna, if you read the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there are 8 types of yajnas which are mentioned. Yes. And tapasya does not exactly come under yajna, but it is also a limb of dharma. Definitely, there is difference.
Okay. Okay.
Now, what is the difference if you were to ask me? Sacrifice or yajna, why it involves sacrifice is we are offering something material to spiritualize it.
Hmm.
That is what is dravya yajna. Yes, that means you're offering some matter to purify it and spiritualize it. Hmm? There is also brahmachari does swadhyaya yajna. It said everybody, grahastha does dravya yajna, brahmachari does swadhyaya yajna. This is all mentioned in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. So what we are especially doing in yajna vai Vishnu. It's a sacrifice done to please Vishnu. That means there is some kind of inconvenience. You're right. There's a common element. But
Okay.
tapasya is voluntary acceptance of physical or mental inconvenience to progress in spiritual life. So Shastras do classify tapa and yajna separately, but they have some similarity. What the similarity is, there is inconvenience, of course. That inconvenience is there in everything. In this world, parishrama or hard work is common factor in everything. No matter what we do, we have that inconvenience. And common factor in both the sacrifice and yajna done in, especially in mode of goodness, is the pleasure of Hari, Guru, Vaishnavas is prominent. Yes. So
But
austerity is tapa and yajna is sacrifice. Yeah.
it will be easy to okay to say like the tapa also comes under sacrifice.
Well, we'll check it out.
Okay.
Where I'll just show you 4th chapter. We'll go there. So just give me half a minute. I'll show you exactly. Dravya yajna. I got
Right.
it.
Under 20,
Yes.
26.
It does come, as you're saying, that dravya yajnas. It's a one type of yajna. The next one is tapo yajna. Tapo yajna is sacrifice in austerities. That is also one type of yajna. Then there is yoga yajna, tatha apare, swadhyaya yajnas. Yeah. So as you're saying, that yajna is a sacrifice and tapasya is also one type of yajna as per this, which is the duty of a person who is um, maintaining strict vows. So tapo yajna usually is a duty, a responsibility that is taken by the sannyasis. Mm. That is a tapo yajna. Davya yajna is for the grihasthas. Like that, for varnashram, each one of their responsibilities mentioned in this section by Krishna. So tapasya, as per Bhagavad Gita, tapo yajna is also one kind of yajna. But
Okay.
normally, if you see yajna, dana, tapa, vratta, swadhyaya, 5 things are separate in the shastras.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Because only for the first yajna sacrifice, the 7 items are applicable, right, Prabhu, that you mentioned.
These 7 items which are mentioned in the second verse of this chapter, 5.3.2.
Okay.
These
Okay.
7 are transcendental ingredients which facilitate a good yajna. But yajna ultimately, unless the consciousness of pleasure of Vishnu is not there, the yajna is not. It's material. It cannot be spiritual.
But that is
It
not,
remains a material yajna.
that item
That
is
is, but that's that item is not there. No, that way chanting also there is external. But unless our proper mood is proper, our chanting is important. It's an important chanting. Yeah. So why does Krishna not appear when we chant? Ideally, when somebody chants, Krishna should appear because our chanting is not yet potent with prema. So that is not mentioned, but that's understood. That's inherent.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
That's why there is purport of acharyas. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Yes,
Yeah,
Danut Mataji.
question, Prabhuji. Yeah. Vyasadeva Srimad Bhagavatam is there. Then in addition to that, we have Jiva Goswami's Laghu Bhagavatam and Brihat Bhagavatam by Sanatana Goswami. Is there any difference or is it the one and the same? Then if it is the difference, why they wrote so many Bhagavatams? Like we cannot follow all these things, right? No, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you please
So if you
clarify?
see, yeah, sure. The Srimad Bhagavatam means anything that is connected to Bhagavan. That is Bhagavatam, connected to Bhagavan. Now, each one of these acharyas, when they read Srimad Bhagavatam, the result of that reading of Bhagavatam was an outburst of emotions, rasa. Yat Shrinvatam Rasajnanam Swadu Swadu Pate Pate. And these acharyas, whatever the treasure of rasa they experienced, they wanted to share it with the world through their writings. So they poured it out. Like Rupa Goswami, when he heard Srimad Bhagavatam, he read Srimad Bhagavatam, his outburst of emotions came in the form of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Sanatan Goswami, when he read the Srimad Bhagavatam, that outburst came as Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Jiva Goswami, he was compelled, Krama Sandarbha. He wrote it. And even Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he read all these commentaries and also the commentary of Sridhar Acharya, he writes in the beginning, in the preface to his Sarartha Darshini, that he was helpless, and he became so ecstatic that I'm forced to make this child, he says, I'm forced to make this childish attempt of writing this Bhagavatam, although I'm not very qualified. So please forgive my impudent behavior, but yet I'm going to have an outburst of my emotions. So Srimad Bhagavatam is full of bhakti ras, and one who experiences that bhakti ras, he will just pour down their realizations through that. So now what we are supposed to do? So we have the ecstasies of our Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada and my purports are my devotional ecstasies. So we definitely read them. And even if you see the first canto, fourth chapter, verses onwards, Prabhupada writes in the purport that he also wanted us to eventually read the Acharya's commentaries, etc. But after we are having thorough grip over Srila Prabhupada's commentary. So once you've read Srila Prabhupada books sufficiently, then we can also, alongside with the Acharya's commentary, we can read Srila Prabhupada's books again in the light of the Acharyas. We can do that. So as and when, yatha, there are two things. Yatha mati, yatha shrutam. So as far as our intelligence goes, as far as we are empowered, we can read. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One thing, what is that Swadhyaya mean?
Swadhyaya means reading of literatures. That's called Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya, reading, self-study. That's called Swadhyaya.
That is
So
for
especially it refers to Vedic mantras. Yeah, Swadhyaya Yajna. So one is hearing those lectures. It's for everyone as such. Now there is no, specifically Krishna mentions one prominent yajna for each one in the Varnashram. But we are in the Krishna conscious purview. There's Devi Varnashram. So we have our prescribed process of A, B, C, D, E. A for association, B for books, C for chanting, D for deities, and E for engagements. So we have all of them. Yes, so that we all have to do now. Whether you're brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, we do all this.
And one more question, Prabhuji, about chanting. They were asking about time and count. Is sometimes they said if we are chanting in a very less time, then you should check you're not pronouncing properly or you're not attentive. But sometimes if we check also, we are telling all the words, but it is very fast. So is that wrong?
So normally what I tell, and I also do this activity once in 6 months, is I record my chanting. I record my chanting and I check, am I reciting all 108 mantras? Am I eating up some mantras? Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That happens. Yeah, eating up of mantra, or am I eating the beads? Sometimes people eat the counter beads also. Instead of pulling one bead, you pull 2, 3 counter beads. That way 16 rounds get over really fast. Yeah. So we need to keep a check for ourselves. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to say that every Ekadashi we should check our japa. As the quality of japa improved. But in such a fast-paced life, I would leave it to the individual at what frequency we are checking. But we all should definitely check once. Recording, we can pick up random rounds and check if you are actually reciting the mantra clearly. We have to pronounce clearly, chant audibly, and focus attentively. These three are very important. Yes, pronounce audibly. Sometimes the Hare Krishna mantra becomes very feeble. It's just a buzzing sound. But Prabhupada says the upper lip, the lower lip, and the tongue, these three things should move. That's when japa happens. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, when these three things move, that is when japa is happening distinctly and clearly. And the sound should be audible to us at least, if not to the whole world. And we have to be as attentive as possible in our japa. So we can regularly check time to time if we are doing this by recording our japa and hearing our recording, and we will get newer and newer realizations of our japa. How wonderful chanters we are. Thorough we get good realizations. So many times people ask, Prabhu, why I'm chanting 16 rounds for the last so many years? Why it's not happening? Why Krishna Prema is not dominating in the heart? Please check if we are chanting 16 rounds actually. Are we? Please record your japa and check. There was one of my students recently started crying. I asked what happened. Said, Prabhuji, after you told I did the activity, I realized I'm only chanting 72 mantras in one round. That's all, not 108. This was shocking for him. It can happen to any of us. So we should be really careful. So that's why normally what I do is when I take my bead, on the bead, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. When I say Hare Ram, I move my bead. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then I go to the next beat. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that way you will not skip the beats. This we have to be careful. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very nice, wonderful class. So many points. Thank you.
Why should japa be audible? Because that's mentioned in the Shastras. The Shastras mention that because we have to hear our japa. Yannama shruti matrena puvan bhavati nirmalaha. When does the heart become purified? When we hear the mantra that we chant. Not even which Prabhupada is chanting. Sometimes people put on Prabhupada's chanting machine and they chant along with that. That seems good. But that way we can be under our illusion of our own chanting. We are thinking we are chanting very nicely. Yeah, but we will get to know our spiritual japa strength when we chant and hear our mantra, not somebody else's chanting. So japa should be audible because when the sound vibration enters the ear, that sound vibration is what causes the purification, not the utterance. Yannama shruti matrena puman bhavati nirnama shruti matrena. When we hear the chanting, that is when we get purification of heart. Okay.
Thank you so much. If there are no questions or comments, we can end the call here.
Is walking japa okay? We are getting one by one.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just the last one I'll take this. Promise, last one. All right. Is walking japa okay? The goal of chanting is to hear the holy name attentively, as we said. So ideal is if we sit in one place properly and we do the japa. But by sitting, one is feeling drowsy or sleepy, then one may stand up. I've seen some of them even falling during when you're standing. Also, I've seen some people falling down. If this is the case, then we can start walking and chanting. That should be the last resort. Yes, but ideally is to sit in one place and chant. So we should ensure that we get good night rest. The previous night we got good rest. 6 to 7 hours of good rest the previous night ensures that we are awake and alive in chanting. Yeah. So even if it is japa walking, well, that's if we are not able to sit and chant. And well, the goal is to hear the holy name. All right. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks for showering your blessings and everything, Prabhu. Sharing.
Oh, Jai Prabhu Jai. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.